Hello everyone. Today we're going to discuss the last scene of Act 2. So are you all excited? So let's begin with the summary and then we'll go towards the line by line explanation. So Act 2, Scene 4 takes place outside Macbeth's castle. So in the beginning of the scene, Ross and an old man are seen discussing about the strange night that it was, and they also talk about the various abnormal and strange sights, especially the strange behavior from animals. After that, Macduff enters and he mentions that the suspicion of killing King Duncan is on Malcolm and Donalbain, his sons, because they had fled soon after the murder was discovered. Then he also mentions that Macbeth is now named the king and the coronation is going to happen in Scone. Also, towards the end of the scene, Macbeth fears that they might not be as happy under the new king as they were with the old one. And finally, they all depart and the scene ends. Now let's go towards the line by line explanation. So in the beginning of the scene, the old man says, 70 I can remember well. So the old man is saying, I can clearly remember or recollect the past 70 years of my life, within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange. So he's saying during that span of 70 years or during that time, he's saying that he has witnessed a lot of unusual events and dreadful things. But this sore night hath trifled former knowings. But he's saying what I saw last night was so strange that it seems like I have not seen anything before this. Or he's saying my previous experience was quite trivial. So he means to say that the previous night sights was really horrific and strange. Ross says, Ah, good father, means, oh, old man, thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act. So he's saying, yes, you can see the skies. They are troubled with the act of men. Threatens his bloody stage. So he's saying that the skies, they are troubled with the actions of men and they are threatening earth with storms. By the clock, it's day. So according to the clock, it is supposed to be day. And yet, dark night strangles the traveling lamp. So he's saying according to the clock, it's supposed to be daytime, but unfortunately, the dark night is continuing to strangle the sun. Strangle is hold. It's not allowing the sun to come out. So the traveling lamp that is mentioned here is the sun. Is it night's predominance or the day's shame that darkness does the face of earth entomb when living light should kiss it? So he's asking that, is it because the night has become too powerful, it has become too predominant, or is it because the day feels shame, or the day is feeling shame that it is hiding its face, because of which the darkness is covering the earth when it is supposed to be kissed by light? Then the old man says, it's unnatural. Even like the deed that's done. So all this what we have seen in the sky, it is unnatural, just like the deed. So what is the deed that was done? Killing King Duncan. That was also unnatural. On Tuesday last, a falcon towering in her pride of place was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed. So he's talking about a strange sight that he saw. On Tuesday, a falcon was circling high in the air and it was soaring proudly in the sky. But an owl, instead of catching a mouse, killed the falcon, and that was a very unusual and strange sight that was witnessed. So, here, what are the strange things? First, they talk about the strange sight in the sky where, when it was supposed to be daytime, it was enveloped by darkness and there was storm. The second was that the falcon was murdered by a common owl, which usually eats or preys at mouse. And now let's go to the next strange sight. Ross says, and Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain. We're saying another strange thing happened, that was of Duncan's horses. They are beauteous and swift, so they're very beautiful and they are very fast. The minions of their race, so the very best of their race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out. So these horses, supposed to be beautiful and swift and best of their breed, but suddenly they turned wild and broke out of their stalls. Flung out, contending against obedience as they would make war with mankind. But what did they do? They kicked and jumped wildly, refusing to obey. As before, they were very obedient and they were acting like they were at war with mankind. And the old man says, it said that they eat each other. So the old man says that after that, I've also heard that they ate each other. So Ross says, they did so to the amazement of my eyes that looked upon. Then he says, here comes the good Macbeth. So Ross is saying, yes, I witnessed it with my own eyes and it was a shocking sight to me as well. I was astonished when I saw that. And Macbeth enters. He asks, how goes the world, sir, now? So when Ross asks that, how are things going now? Macbeth asks, don't you see it for yourself? Then Ross asks, is it known who did this more than bloody deed? So did they find out who committed this horrible and bloody crime? Macbeth says, those that Macbeth had slain. So Macbeth says, it is believed that the servants that Macbeth had killed were responsible for killing King Duncan. Ross says, alas the day, what good could they pretend? So Ross is asking, what do they hope to gain for themselves by doing it? Macduff says they were subordinate, means they were bribed. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled. So Macduff is saying that the two sons, which is Malcolm and Donalbain, have hidden away and they have run or fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed. So now the suspicion is on them because as soon as it was discovered that King Duncan had died, they hid and they ran away. Ross says, against nature still. So this is also something that is against nature. Thriftless ambition that wilt raven up thine own life's means. So he's calling it a very stupid or wasteful ambition. So he's calling it a wasteful ambition because the sons had killed their father who was actually supporting them. Then it's most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth. So then I think Macbeth will be made the king now. So Macbeth says he's already named. So he's already been named the king and he has gone to Scone to be invested. So he has gone for the coronation to be crowned the king. Then Ross enquires, where is Duncan's body? Macduff says, carried to Colmikill. So he has been taken to Colmikill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardians of their bones. So, so he says that in Colmikill there is a tomb of his predecessors or the previous kings, and he will also be buried there with his predecessors where their remains are preserved in the tomb. So Ross asks, will you go to Scone? So Macduff says, no cousin, I will be going to Firth. So Ross says, well, I will thither, means I will go to Scone. Then Macduff says, well, may you see things well done there, Eddie, means bye. So may you see good things there and may the ceremony go well. Lest our old robes sit easier than our new. So he says that I hope things go well, unless I believe that we would actually be more happier with the old king rather than the new one. That's why he says our old robes sit easier than our new ones. So our new king will may not be as suited in the role of the king as our old king. Ross says, farewell, father. Farewell, old man. The old man says, God's benison go with you. So may God's blessings be with you. And also with those that would make good of bad and friends of foes. So may God's blessings be with you and also with all of them who turn bad into good and enemies into friends. And that is the end of the scene. So if you see here, Macduff is using symbolism where the old robes symbolize the old king and the new robes symbolize the new king. So Macduff has actually made a great prophecy that they might not be happy with Macbeth ruling over them. And that is the end of the 9th standard Macbeth syllabus. I hope you had a great time. Study well, revise umpteen number of times. God bless, and I'm praying for each one of you. Take care.